In today's edition of ps3251 news, we focus on the large demonstration now happening in Cairo, Egypt. An estimated 1 million protesters are demanding the dissolution of parliament, release of political detainees, and the immediate removal of President Hosni Mubarak. The interesting point here is that within the square, the protesters seem to have set up a community for themselves, providing the basic necessities for life. But how are they able to do this without the assistance of any regional or international organization? Now let's ask Mr. Steve Wolkowitz from the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. Mr. Wolkowitz, do you think this non-violent protest that is sustaining itself in a relatively orderly fashion, with plenty of food coming in from the goodwill of the citizens and an ad hoc medical center, challenges the need for the involvement of international organizations in this intra-state issue?
Well, we feel that it's very hard to describe this community as safe. It does not uphold the norms of state-provided security and is unsustainable in the long term. Though the temporary efforts of many have been valiant, it will be too difficult for average citizens to provide food, healthcare, and physical security for the masses beyond a short period. Looting and other crimes have also been rampant, and many protesters are being hurt, seeing as how the Egyptian state is unable to provide the security for its people. We believe that there should be an international intervention to stabilize the situation. If it is impossible to have such an anarchic system of human security as you describe to be a permanent foundation for any given group of people, the UN, as the repository for human rights, values, and norms, believes the people protesting in the square will benefit most from accepting a transition from the authoritarian regime to democratic rule of the nation-state. Maintaining stability within this period of change is crucial for upholding the legitimacy of the state and its authority. The way to democracy, in our liberal internationalist view, must actively change the values associated with the statehood of Egypt and institutionalize norms of personal, financial, religious, and environmental security.
Thank you, Mr. Wolkowitz. But what do the protesters think? Now let's move to Tahrir Square and hear the voice of some of the protesters on street level.
The state, in this case, has failed to provide even the most basic human security to the Egyptian people. The government has curtailed our freedom of expression, has driven us into economic deficit, and has repeatedly abused our fundamental human rights. Any attempts at peace processing have only ended up in Western support for authoritarian leaders, the antitheses of what the people wanted or demanded. The traditional UN approach of peacekeeping only serves to maintain the status quo and maintain this corrupt government. As such, we have created powerful and localized responses to human security. Since the current global system of political consciousness does not include or even recognize the power and determination of ordinary people just like us, we want to prove to both Mubarak and the international system itself that change can occur peacefully and independently of any other given political body. This is a domestic issue. Let us solve it domestically.
We now go to live audio feed of Sho Hayashi, representative of a non-for-profit NGO.
While the UN calls for a foreign-implemented, one-size-fits-all strategy that is insensitive to the domestic dynamics, and the Egyptian protesters know little of the technicalities and pitfalls of transitioning governments, we feel that there is room for organizations like us in this critical period. A multi-level grassroots approach to this situation is the key. We, NGOs, can help the Egyptian people via channels that is not as stifled by politics and bureaucracy as the United Nations, to see the people through. The non-profit NGO, being free from economic or political ties, is the only organization that can claim true altruism, and thus is truly beneficial on human level.